Hello, everyone. Keisha Hughes again, and today marks my 27th week and 1 day of pregnancy with our baby boy Davin. For those of you who are just starting to follow or check in, um, yesterday I had shared a little bit of our journey with our pregnancy and baby Davin, and his complications with his heart, his digestive system, and the diagnosis of Down syndrome. I committed to you that I would check in every day with you at least up until 30 weeks, because that is the timeline that the medical team gave me of what they believe would be highly likely of fetal demise. And so it's day 2. And again, I am happy to report that Davin is alive and well, y'all. He is kicking, he is kicking, and he is kicking. And I am so grateful to God for that and to be able to share that with you. And if he happens to move or you see my tummy move, I'll try to point it out to you during these next few minutes. So today, I had mentioned yesterday about his name and the significance really of his meaning, the meaning of his name, and how important it really is, and just fascinating and just divine. So in my family, we have a tradition on my husband's side that the men in the family, their last name, or excuse me, the last 3 letters of their name, first name, end with VIN. So, for instance, my husband's name is Calvin. My husband's, our sons are Javin and Gavin. And so once we found out that it was a boy, I knew that I'd be locked into the Vins. And so I was hopeful with this baby, again, being transparent, that we could kind of do away with the tradition. I get to pick my own name for the boy without the VIN. But my husband was pretty adamant about naming this baby. And so he did. He chose a name, but he wouldn't tell me right away. We'd been through a lot, and he wanted to wait maybe 6 months or so until he revealed the name. And so, of course, in my mind, I'm still coming up with a name of my liking, and I did just that. And so the name that I wanted to name baby Davin was Mellow. And Mellow has so many beautiful various meanings to it, but I thought it was a really cool name, but again had significance in the meaning. And think of like melody and melodies from heaven, and that praise, right, and joy, and peace too, right? And so that was my mindset. It also correlated with some of the other names of our children too. So once I came up with that name and I was super excited, I had asked my husband, so what's the name that you came up with? And he was like, you know what? And at this point, I think we were about 4 months in. He said, you know what? I trust God. I'm gonna tell you the name. And he told me, and that name was Davin. And he told me the meaning of it. And I'll be honest, you all, in my head, I'm like, it's gonna be Mellow. His first name's gonna be Mellow. And maybe we'll do, Davin as a middle name. We'll switch it up. But in my mind, I was very adamant that his name was going to be Mello. Even after he told me the name that he had chosen. And so I just, I just went on, and I was like, I'm going to try to convince him to, name this child Mello, that we're going to name this child Mello. And so fast forward, really some weeks, I believe, maybe a week or two after that, I do believe that the Spirit of the Lord, and it was so late, I remember it being so late at night, told me to go look up Davin, go look up the meaning of this child's name. And I just remember it just being so profound, like, do it, right? And so I did. I went online, and even though my husband told me the meaning and what have you, one ear out the other, because I had my mind focused on what I wanted. And so this particular night, I went and I did the research myself and looked up the name. And when I saw Loved by God, it was like a light, like a light bulb just kind of came on. It was like, how can I not want this name too? And there was an instant connection and really peace within me that said, and confirmation that was like, this is his name. And Mello will be his middle name. And so that's what I went with. And not knowing the news that I would hear the following day, which was the first ultrasound after the blood work that said potentially that Davin would possibly have Down syndrome. So fast forward the next day, very next day is when I had this ultrasound, and this particular appointment I was by myself, and during the ultrasound, there were things that were abnormal, and the doctor came in and spoke to me and told me about the heart, and told me that, quite frankly, they didn't even see his stomach at this point. Not saying it wasn't there, but there was just no fluid, no movement, anything. And there were other things that looked small or, abnormal as well. Bladder, I believe, was one of them, liver, and some things. And she had recommended I seek a second opinion, in which I obliged, and that's what we did. At this point, I'm actually now in the care of those doctors. So I wanted to just share a little bit of that, because shortly, during that day, obviously the questions were being asked of, do you want to terminate this pregnancy, and things of that nature, and even speaking to genetic counselor and things of that nature. And I had to ask myself, what do you want to do? And be okay with that. Am I a bad mother for knowingly wanting to bring a child, knowing that this child had complications? Or am I a bad person, a bad Christian, for not doing it? And I had to ask myself those questions. And then as I reflected back on numerous things that occurred, and I'll share that with you on another day. One of the things that was at the forefront of my mind was this baby's loved by God. That's one of the meanings. Loved by God. And how could I? He's loved by God. And so I quickly came to that decision and knew in my heart, in my everything, that this baby is here to stay. And we're not going to make that decision. Of course, I spoke to my husband and things of that nature too. But a little bit about the meaning as well. So I saw loved by God, and there's this association in the Hebrew, right? And biblically, and Davin is really associated with David. And we, some of us know the story of David and stories of David and how his musical talent, melody, his musical talent, and and how brave he was, and how resilient David was, and even, excuse me, the reference of that David was a man after God's own heart. And when you also look at other origins, Irish origins, there was a reference that I came across that said little dark one or little black one. And I was like, oh no, well, that meaning isn't really right. But when you really dig a little deeper into that, it really showcases that, that this name also is significant, that when there's darkness, this name, or those who are named Davin, have this resilience or power in darkness, that there's beauty in adversity, and there's strength in the darkness of life. And so let's kind of put those together, right? So Davin, loved by God. Davin, darkness, resilience in darkness, power of overcoming challenges and adversity. And wow, isn't that kind of what's happening now, right? And so I just believe that the meaning of a name is so important. And in this case, it was just revealed to us a lot sooner, of the meaning of his name and what's going on now before he's even born. So that's a little history of his name and significance of that. And I just want to say, before I conclude, thank you so much for the overwhelming, in a good way, response to day one's journal entry, if you will, or video entry. I am so blessed, so fortunate to have people who love and care and have strong faith, and are just supportive. And then those who are also sharing their stories, sharing their personal stories, or those who are saying thank you for posting, because here's what's happening with me, or it was so right on time. I woke up to DMs and text messages. I've received phone calls, and I, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. and so appreciative of you. Um, God asked me to, God told me to do this. And we don't always know the details, right? We don't always know why. But I encourage you today that if you're hearing something, if there's this press that you have to do something or should do something, or listen, do it. You never know the impact that it'll have for you and also the lives of others. So I encourage you to have an open ear to listen to what God is telling you to do. I have no idea what this is going to do, or I have some hunch or inkling or what have you, right? But on the surface, but I'm going to stay obedient, and I'm going to continue to do this. So thank you so much. Please share if you haven't. I encourage you to hit that share button and just share it. I'm a little new at this. Bear with me. I'm trying to set up YouTube channels and things of that nature as well, because there's a story that needs to be heard. And this is one of them. So thank you again, and I will, God willing, see you tomorrow for day 3. Bye.